There are strong indications that the People's Democratic Party have settled for indirect primaries to pick its 2023 presidential candidate on May 29th. It was also gathered that the opposition party was looking at ways of reducing its current 17 presidential aspirants by encouraging consensus talks among them so that some of them would step down. Sources in the party who spoke to our correspondent on Sunday said the ongoing consensus talks among some aspirants were not aimed at presenting a single aspirant at the presidential primary of the party. It was learned that the party had no plan to impose a candidate on members, but it was encouraging talks among intending presidential candidates so that some of them would voluntarily step down to reduce post primary crisis. As of Sunday, members who had obtained forms for the presidential primary included the Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwa, a United States-based medical doctor Nwachukwu Anakwenze, media mogul Dele Momodu, Governor of Rivers State Nyesom Wike, investment banker and economics Mohammed Hayatuddin, former Governor of Anambra State Peter Obi, Governor of Akwa Ibom Emmanuel Udom, a pharmacist Sam Ohabua, and former Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose. Others are former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, a former President of the Senate Bukola Saraki, former Secretary to the Government of the Federation Ayim Pius Ayim, and the Governor of Bauchi State Bala Mohammed, as well as the only female aspirant in the race, Tarila Diana. But four of the aspirants, Tambua, Mohammed Taraki, and Hayatuddin, have been going round the country with the aim of ensuring that the party presents a consensus candidate. There were reports on Sunday that the option being canvassed by the four aspirants had failed as they had not succeeded in convincing others to support the move. But a member of the party's National Working Committee who confided in the Punch stated the party is in support of the move by the four aspirants. It is not to force anybody to step down, but to reduce the number of the aspirants we currently have to 3 or 4 before May 29th, and from all indications, we are going to adopt indirect primary. When contacted, Saraki's media aide Yusuf Olaniyan, in an interview with one of our correspondents, said, Saraki is a party man to the core. Any decision taken by the party on these two issues, mode of primaries and venue, will be okay by him. The fact that he and some others are canvassing consensus candidacy, we have to put it in context. We're not saying consensus candidate means only one person will be presented at the primary. All we are simply saying is that reduce the number to a manageable low rate. Now 17 people have taken forms. The date of picking forms has not closed. More people will still pick. But you see, any serious party that wants to win an election cannot go to primaries with 17 aspirants. You cannot. It will be difficult for the party to handle. It will make the convention very complex. What we have started conversing is to reduce the number to a manageable extent. Create a situation where the aspirants of their own volition can discuss amongst themselves, persuade each other, some step down for the others so that the number is tremendously reduced. So that is the purpose of this. You can see when the APC, the All Progressive Congress, was an opposition party in 2015 and was serious about defeating the incumbent, it had so many people who were interested in the presidency, but essentially only 5 people got to the ballots at the Lagos convention. That was what helped them to manage the process effectively. Now we're looking at 17 people who have picked forms. The number may go to 20 because the sale of forms has not closed. So what they are simply saying is that reduce the number, look for 4 serious aspirants, let the aspirants meet of their own volition without anybody compelling them to debate amongst themselves, and let's start the process. Let's show a good example. Let's show people that even in Nigeria that you struggle, you need consensus building. In a country that has this kind of problems, you need a bridge building. You need people to agree among themselves and put the interest of the nation and the interest of the party above personal ambition. So they said, if we show good example, so 3 of them started, 2 governors and a former Senate president. Because of good initiative, they started. One other person joined them, a former MD, managing director of a leading bank. So they are now 4. They are saying that we're ready to produce only one of us, and the three of us are ready to support one person. That is in the first instance. Saraki, who has always been their spokesperson, has always said in their own group, all the four of them are qualified to be president of this country in terms of experience, what they are putting on ground, knowledge in terms of education, educational attainment, and all of that. Each of them is qualified, but they believe that the interest of the nation, the survival of the party, and the unity of the party, all of these considerations are bigger than the individual ambitions of the aspirants. The consensus they are canvassing is not about imposing one person, it's about reducing the number of aspirants to give manageable options and choices. Meanwhile, an associate of Atiku who spoke on condition of anonymity said the former vice president was ready for the primary anyway. He stated, the people charged with the responsibility, the party stakeholders will meet. The factors that will be taken into consideration include the logistics and all other things necessary to deliver a successful convention. It will also be the same thing for the mode of the primary, and most likely is going to be an elective process. The delegates will vote. The delegates will determine who the PDP candidate should be. Wherever it is taken to doesn't matter, and it's not a determinant. If you like, take it to the moon. The delegates will still vote for the person they believe is best equipped to want to win the election on behalf of the party and grapple with the challenges of fixing the mess of the last 7 or 8 years in 2023. The Rivers State PDP spokesman Cindy Gaba on his part stated, I think the leadership of the party will decide on which method to be used, but I know it is definitely not going to be direct primaries because our party kicked vehemently against that when it came up. It was gathered that Tambuwa would prefer a consensus candidate ahead of the primary. Speaking to one of our correspondents in Sokoto on Sunday, one of his aides who spoke on condition of anonymity said the governor would prefer an amicable consensus arrangement where all aspirants would speak with one voice. He stated, I'm sure you are aware of his efforts and that of the former Senate President Bukola Saraki on having a consensus candidate. Tambuwa is a very loyal party man and will do everything within his power to make the party come out stronger out of the next primary. When contacted, the PDP spokesman Debo Olugunagba stated, it is the NEC that is going to decide on some of these things, including the mode of primaries. The NEC will decide on the city where the primary will take place. The NEC will meet very soon to decide on them one way or the other. The report of the zonal committee will be taken to the NEC for consideration.